So hello everyone, welcome back to Bobby's Box.
You didn't warn me about that.
As you can tell from that outburst, we are joined by another guest. It's day 2 of the Stalking show, and we're very, very lucky to have David from the Fieldsports Channel joining us. David saw us setting up our stand on Friday afternoon, and I think was very concerned for Harry and I, because immediately sort of picked up and said, "This isn't your job, is it, guys?" I think David was worried that if this was, it wasn't going to last for long, or we might struggle to pay the bills.
It was very paternal of me, wasn't it? It's like, come on, chaps, come on, be serious.
Yeah, and since now seeing our Divana high seat and box that's been put up, I think has been slightly less concerned.
It's very professional, gents, and I love the antler mic holder. It's wonderful.
Also a bottle opener.
It's beautiful. It's really clever.
Dual purpose.
I like that. Can you believe they're talking over us now with this tannoy? That's absolutely outrageous.
It is.
Absolutely. We had the deer calling competition over us.
Oh no!
At the back. But our listeners are very understanding.
Very understanding.
Yeah.
Okay. How long are you? I'm going to interview you a bit now. So how long has the Deercast actually been going for?
2 to 3 years, I think.
Yeah.
And like all good things, it started after a couple of beers. We were sat down one evening and we're talking about what podcasts we each listened to, and our frustration was there were lots of podcasts out there, but they were either very American, or they were, as in hunting sort of podcasts, they were either very American or they were sort of very mixed bag. They'd be talking about ferrets one minute, gun dogs the next minute, and both of us are quite unapologetically obsessed with just deer stalking. So we said, well, how hard can it be to create a podcast solely focused on deer stalking?
And how hard is it to create a podcast solely focused on deer stalking?
If you're as incompetent as us, quite hard.
What's the most left field topic you've had to deal with then when it comes to deer stalking? Which was sort of on the fringes of deer stalking, but wasn't quite deer stalking.
Well, I think true to form, we've tried to keep it very kind of narrowly focused. Who have we had on that hasn't been really very deer-based?
What's the most important thing you've learned? What have you learned from someone, from the vast array of subjects you've had talking to you? When have you gone, oh...
I would say everyone.
Yeah.
And I'm not,
Oh,
that's not a cop-out, but I think Harry and I would both confess to not being experts. And so it's everyone you get on, someone will give you a little tidbit that you think, I'm going to go home and try that.
See, that's perfect, though. Because you're not experts, you don't class yourself. I do not hunt.
Yeah.
You know, I have shot stuff, but I do not hunt. So I go in
hang
wide-eyed.
on. You do hunt, because you hunt the stories and you fish for
That's
facts.
true. Very successfully, actually. Very successfully. I get sort of bag 8 or 9 a week. It's incredible.
So my wife, because it's probably giving you far too much information, when we go to bed, I get into bed and I set up the laptop and I watch the Fieldsports Channel, and she's messing around in the bathroom doing whatever. And she'll come in, and of course she can't see what's on the laptop screen as she first walks into the bedroom. And I don't know what it is, but it's obviously you're a consistent way through the episode every time.
Okay.
She comes in and she's like, "Oh, it's the hunting for facts and fishing for stories, man." And,
outrageous.
Yeah. So you're famous in our household.
But this is why I've heard this, like, not just one or twice, but literally 50 or 60 times, that the wife, the partner, is involved in watching field sports, but it's sort of on the fringes, but sort of aware.
Yeah.
So the husband goes, "This is the guy." The fishing stories and something for facts. Yeah. Anyway, it'll never leave me now, will it? It'll never leave me.
I've noticed it's moved on, hasn't it? The news segment. Are you still presenting it, or is it somebody else now?
No, sometimes when I'm away, if I can, I will do it when I'm away. But sometimes it's so involved, and especially if you're not necessarily if you're somewhere like incredibly remote, like Mozambique, because sometimes you've got better internet there than you might have. But if you're so carried away with actually trying to get what you need to get, then there's absolutely no way I can do it. So we have Meredith. So Meredith is she works for us. She tends to do a lot of our digital stuff, but she, like me, is ex-ITV, and so she's more than happy to take up the role and the mantle of being the news presenter. So Meredith's always there in the wings if needs be, and bless her, she does the turn as well. So fair play.
Excellent. Well, I mean, speaking of field sports,
yes.
Field Sports Nation now as well.
Yes.
We were just having a little chat, and Tom and I walked past your stand, and there's some amazingly exciting new stuff that we didn't know about, even though we're avid field sports fans.
That's very kind.
There's some new stuff.
So we've it's been a while, and it's taken a long time to get this sorted, but for me, I feel that people join the Fieldsports Channel membership, as we're now sort of calling it. If you become part of our community, it's Fieldsports Nation, but they join it, they have historically with their hearts and not necessarily their heads. They sort of get an understanding of what we're trying to do, and a lot of people come up and they say, love the work, love what you're doing. Trying to explain to someone outside our world what we do and how we do it is probably quite difficult, and probably not for now, but we just want to try and deal with field sports in the media. We're both, Charlie and I, are media professionals. Sounds a bit bad, but yeah, we sort of know, and Charlie he's there, whenever, even when tricky subject matter, he will put himself out there, and he will be on ITV and GB News and whatever to try and at least put a sensible argument back. And you get people that get very excited and feel that they can represent field sports, but you've got to just be composed and calm and play the game, because if you lose your rag, you're going to look an idiot really, really quickly. So Charlie is just very professional and very comfortable in those environments where you've got the lights on you, you asked a very uncomfortable question, and you can just cope with it, and you can bat it back and come up with decent arguments and not get flustered and lose it, basically, which would be very, very bad for us. So anyway, so the membership has been there now for a few years, but we wanted, certainly over the last few years, where we saw things change and a lot of people come to us, and we've done a lot of case studies with people since what happened in Plymouth with the shotgun shootings there and the deaths there. Tragic as it is, it's also had an impact on law-abiding citizens who have firearms. And as I say, we've had lots of people coming to us looking for advice, looking to try and help with their situations, whether it's revocations, renewals, whatever, certainly down in Devon and Cornwall. And we just thought it's really important, we feel now, for people to have access to a legal expenses insurance. So we've packaged together legal expenses and public liability insurance, so there's an additional bolt-on if you're already a member, but you can buy our membership for £90 now. You'll get access to that. We've also got a helpline. We've got an advice line where we've got a legal expert who is able to come back to you within 24 hours, because the issues are not going to be standard. There's going to be odd things happen. It could be trespass or whatever, but there's access to that as well. So we're listening to people, and that's the most important thing. If we can listen to people and try and deliver a product that people are going to use and find important, because it is important that people have insurance, obviously, but it's not a legal requirement, which is crazy. Yeah. It's a legal requirement for you to have a motor car, but not to have a firearm, which is just nuts. So we think it's really important. And so basically it's taken us time to work out what we actually need to do, and we feel that public liability, because basically it shows people that you're covered if you're going to have a shooting permission, but also you've got the legal expenses cover if something goes horribly wrong. And we know a lot about legal expenses at the moment, having had 12 months of excitement playing in the courts as well.
Yeah, we've watched with avid interest.
It has been a bit of a soap opera, actually, hasn't it? So yeah, it's been hard. It's been really hard. It's been challenging, not just for us, but for our families too. It is all-consuming when you end up on that particular roller coaster, and you just can't say, "I want to get off now, thanks." It doesn't work that way.
And for our listeners who don't know about that, what sort of happened? And
so yeah, it's probably not long enough for sort of to go into the depths, and it's probably sensible for me not to go into too much depth about it. But there was a situation where Chris Packham basically accused us of defaming him, and so that ended up in a process and a court process. We needed to get legal advice on that, and it just took a long time to work through. So yeah, we had a day in court. And yeah, if people want to Google it, they can Google it.
So before you get too worried, we only have about 6 Nistlers, so there's no way.
That's all you need. That's all you need.
Yeah, no one will hear. So for those 6 listeners, let's say they've listened to this, and the 3 of them that have made it this far through as well, they've gone, right, I want that insurance.
Yes.
Is that live to sign up on the website?
Live. It went live.
Yeah.
It should have been live before the British Shooting Show. We haven't been able to even put it in this week's show in order to talk about the Stalking show. So yes, Charlie's going to be talking all about it in this week's show, and the reasons and whys, and then all the gumfub just explained now. So he will explain it probably in a far more concise and professional way than I have. But yeah, it's something we think is important. There is an expensive policy, but I think it's really, really valuable.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool.
And so, talking of the Stalking show,
yes,
we're obviously here. We've been here for the last couple of days.
Yes.
What have you seen that's twigged your interest that you might not have even had a chance to have a look at properly?
To be honest, chaps, I really haven't had a chance to look around. It's been it's just it really is a fantastic atmosphere, and I think Yeah, I don't know. It's cute, and I think it's the amount of independence here. I think that's what's really helpful, is the fact that a load of independent manufacturers or producers or wholesalers or whatever, but you can touch gear, you can try, you can have conversations, and I think someone was made a point yesterday. We've actually got some outfitters that are selling sort of hunts in Africa, for example, or across Europe. But there's not that sort of intimidation that you don't feel as if you can't go and ask them just a little bit about what they do. So I think it's almost like a PR element here, because not all British stalkers have a clue about what goes on, in other countries and the access to other countries to go and shoot. So I think it's really important that those people talk to like-minded people, because it's all fantastic education. So people that don't understand Africa but do understand reds, for example, can just extend that knowledge and realise that there's plenty of opportunities to go hunting, and people should, if they get the chance, go abroad and experience that, because they talk the same language. They really do.
Yeah. And what have you got coming up in the next kind of edition of Fieldsports? Have you got any abroad stuff
that'll
going
be decided
on,
tomorrow morning.
Oh, okay.
So we've got a few things. Normally it's a case of that's what we've got, that's what we're going with. But we've got a few different things. We've got a very exciting new air rifle that talks to you and has a cold start and all sorts of stuff. It's incredible. So that's a new bit of kit that's coming in from the States. And then also I've got another option of using a piece I did with Wayne and Tim. So Wayne is going from shotgun shooting so we did a film with him in Gotland on rabbits, and he did really well with an aim point mounted on his shotgun. Aimpoint liked what he did and have suggested that he tries a rifle, because he's never been a rifle shooter. So we went and played on Tim's range with the Aimpoint on top of a rifle, because he's going to do the Aimpoint Academy in Sweden in 2 or 3 weeks' time. So it's just a warm-up for him, get his eye in, and of course, he was amazing. He was amazing. So yeah, he's just, and I think it was interesting talking about that, the fact that a shotgun shooter going straight, not just on sticks, but going from shooting a shotgun with that swing to shooting a rifle with that swing, and actually that transition is not as difficult as people would feel.
And how do ideas come to you for the Fieldsports Channel episodes in terms of do your listeners come and watchers come to you and say, please can you do something on XYZ, and
Sometimes.
you make that happen? Do your sort of, I don't know what you'd call them, someone like Paul Childerley come to you and say,
yeah,
let's do
absolutely.
this?
A lot of the guys are very creative, and they will explain what's possible. We do come up with ideas, but I think probably a lot of the kit that we're needing to showcase when we actually get films that we get paid to do, then we know the kit, we know how to then think about applications and where the applications are. I mean, even for example now, a friend of mine was asking about going out and shooting squirrels, but using a thermal to spot the squirrels. And I said, the issue that I have found is that the field of view is so small with a lot of these units, so because they're looking at distance. He said, oh, this unit can do 1,300 metres. I said, that's a complete waste of time for you if you're looking for squirrels in a tree. So he's gone and found a particular unit. I think Thomas Jack's bringing it in, but it's got it's got the widest field of view available for thermal. Bang on. So for us now, it's like, wouldn't that be great if we went and go, look, fancy doing a film on this? Because he was even talking about working his dog. And when he works his dog, he wants to see where the game is before the dog gets there, or even if they put some game out just as a practice thing. Yeah. So you need that field of view. So, we're lucky in that there's been such a huge sort of technological advancement in the last few years with all the different bits of kit that it gives us opportunities. And whether it's boar hunting in Portugal with thermal, or whether it's just a new rifle, then we've got opportunities. But the things I really want to do, and that maybe the brands don't really pick up on, is where we focus on ferrets. It's the grassroots stuff, and Charlie and I have made a decision this year to do far more of the grassroots stuff as well.
Amazing. And I'm always amazed that every single month you manage to churn out a whole sort of, what are they, half an hour, 40-minute episodes? Yeah. How long does it take you? Is it sort of like a week's worth of filming to cut down into those clips, or is it?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, we never wanted to. It shouldn't have been a weekly show anyway. It should have been a fortnightly show, because we started off. We had a debate show called Shooting Politics. Nice. So it should have been Fieldsports Britain and Shooting Politics. Yeah. But Shooting Politics was really freaking boring. Yeah. So we then decided to do a feature show every week, and this came. The model of it came from when I was producing new shows. So they have the feature, they have the break in the middle, and so. Yeah, it's a beast to feed. It is, but because I was from news, my turnaround speed is pretty fast. However, when you go to somewhere pretty exotic, then you've got to put the time in. You've got to create a feature that has that sort of extra bit of gloss to it. So it takes time. Choosing the music for a piece can take 2 hours.
Yeah.
Then you've got to put it all down on the editing line and the timeline and get it done. But the thing is, some films just edit themselves almost. Others are really, really hard. But when you've got a pigeon film, for example, and you've got 50 shots, it's finding those shots and isolating the shots and putting them in. But if you've got one moose falling over, you've got one moose falling over, and that is it. So it's sort of, different films, different decisions made, different feelings. But I love it. Still love it.
So I feel like on the Fieldsports Channel you get quite a lot of jip. I feel sorry for you.
It's very kind of you.
Charlie always is very rude when he introduces you, and I feel like Paul gives you a lot of jip as well in terms of when he's going to shoot something. He's always like, have you got that on film? Are you filming this? And I feel sorry for you, Dave. I don't know why you put up with those guys.
It's taken. I would go away with these people anyway. The fact this is the point. We've got to the situation where the guys that we work with, they know what I want. I know how much I've got to confuse myself. They know what I want. Yeah. Anyway, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But I've basically given them PR and video training for 15 years. So I've created these monsters.
Yeah.
But these monsters are brilliant.
Yeah.
So they know what I need, and it works really well. And so there is everything you hear between us is completely real. That is just the joy of it, and the fact that we find ourselves in some really quite stressful situations. And if you've basically been paid to go out and film a particular hunt, and you have still not seen that animal, and it is the last afternoon of the last day, the pressure's pretty intense. But you can't even. But the point is, at that point, you've had 3 days away, which you think are going to be great. It's really hard work because you've still got that in the back of your head going, I haven't done the job yet. So you cannot let your guard down. It's full on the whole time. And people go, Crowe used to take the mick and say, oh, you're on holiday again. Come on holiday and see what the holiday is really like, because you might not be sleeping. You might be. I did a film in Spain at the beginning of last year. But I could feel Paul's breath against the back of my neck. Our beds were so close. It was just, these things and this is what a friend of mine said this week, and is that we should be filming more of that. Yeah. More of the case of, unfortunately, this is where Paul and I are sleeping tonight, or we're not going to get any sleep tonight. And sort of a bit more of the backstory would be quite interesting.
And it's a real testament to you guys as a sort of family or community, because for us as the watchers, you all do seem as a very close-knit bunch, and the stick you give each other, you can tell it's all in sort of good nature, and it's what makes it such an appealing show to watch.
But
it's lovely.
It needed to be from the very start, because I think when I came out into this, I just felt everyone was so serious about it. But then you go out with people and they're not serious about it. There's a time and a moment when you're super serious. But then apart from that, it's about having a good time and actually celebrating what you're doing and enjoying what you're doing, because it's not pulling the trigger is only one part of it. A very, very small part of it, really. It's everything else. Everything else. And if you're having to share a bedroom with someone, you've got to know them and like them quite a lot.
I really enjoy the banter as well. I feel like you're the sort of top gear of the hunting world.
Well, without the budget.
It doesn't matter who it is. Not Amazon, maybe.
But if you tried, it's about making these people human, and so people don't make their mind up about what a hunter sounds like, looks like, is like.
Yeah.
These are real people doing a really important job, and they know so much. I mean, that was the glory of it, was seeing stuff happen. I remember Roy bringing in a roebuck for the first time. I'd never seen anything like it. I said, why have I never seen this on TV before?
Yeah.
He's there peeping away on this bit of plastic, and suddenly you've got this animal deciding it's going to charge over and say hello to us at 10 yards. It's like, I've never seen this before. Bringing a fox in. Well, you can bring a fox in? Don't be ridiculous. They're wild animals. Incredible.
So what was your introduction to hunting? You worked for ITV.
Yeah, and I did a documentary on wild boar. And my researcher started looking for someone that could talk about wild boar management in the UK. It was just as DEFRA were deciding what to do wild boar. Right. And I wanted to go to Europe, because in the southeast there were wild boar. I wanted to go to Europe to see how it was managed out there. And my researcher found this young whippersnapper of a journalist called Charlie Jacobi, who was editor of Sporting Rifle at the time.
Right.
So he then organised a trip. So next to us here is Tomasz Betek.
Yeah.
And he organised a trip into Croatia. So I've known. So in that film was also Dom Holton, who was editor of Sporting Shooter. So it's sort of like this little mafia. From that one moment, suddenly all these opportunities arose. But when Charlie actually came and presented the show in Croatia. He popped out literally for an afternoon, did a piece of camera and buggered off again. I was suffering from norovirus at the time, so I wasn't in the best. Tommy gave me some firewater to try and cope with that. But anyway, I just thought he was really good in front of camera, and then we kept in touch, and that was it. So that's where it was born from.
Wow. And it's just gone from strength to strength.
Yeah, we've got a significant audience and a very loyal audience, and that's great. And it's taken. We ask people to invite us into their bedrooms, clearly in some situations, but and that's a big thing. That's a big ask, and we are 7 o'clock on a Wednesday because we were competing with Coronation Street back in 2009.
Wow!
And it's now video on demand, but we've still maintained it's still part of people. The amount of people come and say, "I've seen every single show." Yeah. It's like, love it now. Okay, that's cool. What's lovely though, the amount of 8-year-olds, 9-year-olds, 10-year-olds that wanted to take pictures with me this weekend. That's what gives me a buzz, is that the little people as well as 85-year-olds are watching us. That's what is really, really super. That's what I get a kick out of, and the fact that we're still able, at our grand old age now, to be engaging with the little people. That's important. That's really important.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we're very conscious of your time, and you're a busy man, and your stand is a swarm of people interested in the new things. Yeah, you've got quite a few down there. So we won't keep you any longer. But thank you so much for coming and chatting to us. Incredibly interesting. I'm
going to
come and sign up.
When I start. No, please sign up. That'd be great.
We will do. All right. Thanks very much.